Hello everyone, this is Reggie with AE Team Appliance. I got another dryer that I'm reconditioning, and just for troubleshooting reasons, I like to document rare repairs, because sometimes you guys will look on YouTube and have stuff fixed. A lot of the stuff that requires fixing is pretty much standard issues with machines, but every once in a while you have something unique, and it's hard to troubleshoot it if you're not a technician. So pulled out the lint screen there, and this dryer is not getting hot, so there's no heat. And I tested the element with my multimeter, and it beeped, which means it has ohms here. The high limit, the thermostat, excuse me, this controls the heat, so it turns the element off and on at a particular temperature to regulate the heat. And then this one in the back is your high limit thermostat. And what this does is, if for some reason the element overheats, to prevent everything from catching fire, it completely shuts down the heating element. So when I tested this part, it did not give me continuity, which means this was triggered. So you have to replace it, and I also have a video on how to reset that, and I'll show you how to do that. This one you can test, but you have to test with a lighter. So you put a lighter at the bottom of it, put your voltmeter on there, it'll beep, and when you hear a click, it should stop beating. It'll disconnect, which means it disconnects the heat because it's maintaining temperature, and then after a few minutes it'll click back on. So anyway, I've got videos on all that stuff. Also, just point out, I'll show you around the place here. This is your thermistor. This is tested with ohms. This won't be a continuity test, so this one it should read out at room temperature anywhere from 9 to 16 ohms. But that will that you have to look at the tech sheet for that. This rarely goes out. So, and this is another high limit. So this goes out. It's connected to the, behind this is a motor. This is the blower, and through here is where the air flows out. And so if you have a clogged air duct, this, and if it overheats, to prevent fire, once again, this will trigger. And when this triggers, the dryer will not turn on at all. So when this triggers, so to tell you the symptoms, this triggers, dryer will not turn on at all. It should show continuity if you test with a voltmeter. If it doesn't, then it's bad. Well, I hate to say it's bad, it's what's triggered. So these don't really go bad, they're triggered. It's like a check engine light. It's saying, hey, something's wrong. I'm shutting everything down to prevent a fire. So anyway, with this particular dryer, the issue is, let's look up. Bam. Now those are supposed to be your, this is where the, I'm sorry, let me show you guys. I took the housing off. That's the housing there. And so air flows, this in behind this is the dryer drum. Air flows through here, down that duct, through the wheel. This sucks all the air through here and outside. So what's happening is it's an air restriction. So with all that lint piled up right there, air can't get through. And what was happening most likely is the hot air was staying inside the drum, right? And so this is your heating element. At the end of this heating element, it goes up a duct into the drum. So this is how air flows. The heat, this is activated. The heat gets sucked into the drum. Show you. Gets sucked into the drum through there. And down here is that little grate where your lint screen is. Goes through here, through your motor and outside. So what's happening is all the hot air staying inside the drum overheated, so, and that high limit thermostat was triggered. So this typically happens if that lint trap is not clean, or this. Now, how does this happen? This isn't normal. This happened because most likely the home this was in probably didn't have a flap on the outside air vent. So when the dryer blows out the air to the outside, that vent probably is wide open, and what happens is that moisture gets inside that duct, and so moisture just hangs out, and the air duct was probably clogged up, And as you can see here, look, even on the fan blade, see all that lint and stuff? That's not normal, because everything was just wet. And so instead of blowing the lint out, the lint just stuck because it was wet lint. So if you have clear air ducts, everything should be actually blown, should be a dry heat coming out of here because everything is blowing out. So again, you don't want to cure the cough, you want to cure the cold. So yeah, if you go ahead and just replace that high limit thermostat, it's just going to go off again, because this is the real problem. Well, this is the secondary problem. The main problem was the air duct. So yeah, so if this was, you know, somebody not knowing what they're doing, so that's why sometimes it's good to hire a technician. That some inexperienced technicians or do-it-yourselfers may just replace that, or you know, you see that they'll clean that and then not correct the air duct issue. So almost always all roads lead to air duct issues when it comes to dryers. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Also, if you need quality used parts at 1/3 of the cost of buying new parts, www.dryertuneup.com is my website. And this is Reggie with A-Team Appliance.